let's dive into the lips now. This is fairly simple. I'm going to make it as simple as I possibly can. Okay. Now, when you are drawing lips, what you want to think about is you have a horizontal cylinder on top of a horizontal cylinder. Okay, just like that. Isn't that so beautiful? Goodness gracious. But that is the lips in essence. There's a cylinder on top of a cylinder. But the cylinders are curved, right? And they taper. You could also think about the lips as surface planes, and I like to do both. Let me try to be a little bit neater than that. Okay? Now that would be the front plane, top plane, front plane. Tapers, top plane. It tapers, top plane, front plane. That's so you know where to put your light and shade. Now, this upper lip for me is usually more of just the cylinder. Okay, but this is a cylinder as well. But it's also surface planes. Okay, and just like the eye, this part is catching most of the light. Now, sometimes, depending on where the light is coming from, sometimes what happens is that the upper lip casts a shadow on that lower lip a little bit, so you don't see so much of that cylinder. Now, remember what I talked about, that there are a gazillion angles, and I'm going to exaggerate just a little bit, where the two lips touch. Okay. Now, there is the orbicularis muscle that is, let's go to, no, not skull terms, anatomy lesson 12, muscles of the face. Oris, okay? It's a round muscle that wraps around, and you want to think about that a lot when you are drawing the mouth. Yes, the cylinders make it all very easy, but you also want to think about this ball shape that wraps around, because this is catching a lot of light. So is this, and that's what makes her nose pop. That's catching light. That's catching light. Okay, and then it starts to turn under a little bit, and it turns under just like a cylinder. That is something that's really important. Now, again, what I'm thinking about are all of these very cool angles, and that helps me. Now, what really distinguishes the lips the most for me is the cylinders, but physically what I like to do is really think about the cast shadow underneath that lower lip. And then we have right over here another oval highlight area, line that separates the light from the dark. Okay, and then we would have our modeling factors. So the ovals are highly prevalent, and when we look at the muscles of the face, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what you can see here, and there's a lot happening. And again, if you want to know more about the muscles of the face, I would encourage you to watch anatomy lesson number 12. But that's pretty much what I think about, and it's always going to be about. Well, let's talk about what it's never going to be about. It's never, in my opinion, should be about the Brooklyn Bridge, and basically that would be the upper lip, and that would be the lower lip, and it almost looks like a bridge, right? And then you have the water line, which is a straight line. It's never going to be straight like that. The other thing with lips is that you do not want to outline them. You see how there's almost like no outline over here? That's really important that you don't outline. This is very, very cylindrical as well. This is very, very cylindrical as well. And that is something that you want to think about with the mouth. So to recap, your lips are basically cylinders. And if I use a bit of a bigger brush just to be a little bit softer with this, your upper lip is usually just going to be mostly shadow, and then that's going to be a front plane shadow, but the upper lip is darker. It's the shadow underneath that lower lip, and this is where your highlight is going to be on that lower lip. Sometimes your highlight on the upper lip is right where the lip starts. Okay, so just think about those cylinders like that. That's going to be very, very beneficial. Okay, let's talk about the ear next.